ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। हरे कृष्ण. So I would like to welcome all of you for continuing our discussion on Bhagavad Gita. As it is, we have completed 3 chapters of Bhagavad Gita.
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you please turn up your volume? Thank you, thank you.
So we have already completed the 3 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and we are now moving to the 4th one. So in the first chapter, Arjuna got confused, bewildered, did not understand what to do, got overwhelmed with the bodily conception of life, thinking my relatives, my friends. He forgot that he was supposed to be fulfilling the requirements, as per his Kshatriya duties. But by the second chapter, he understands that he cannot find any solution for his predicament, and he surrenders to Krishna. Krishna begins telling Arjuna that Krishna gives the knowledge of that we are not this body and we are spirit soul, and how there are 2 levels of duties, one at the level of the body and one at the level of the soul. And the duties at the level of the body should be performed in a manner that the real purpose is to deliver the soul, the Atma. Right? That one should be making progress on that path. In the 3rd chapter, Arjuna says, very nice, I like the knowledge about soul, but what about, but why are you asking me to, get into this battle? I cannot understand jnana and karma. How does it go together? And Krishna explains in the 3rd chapter we discussed last time. And Arjuna's question was, yes, I am ready. But what is it that impels a person to commit sinful acts? And Krishna gave a whole section of how this lust, born of passion, uh, causes one to commit sinful acts. And Krishna ended up with how the knowledge will save, especially transcendental knowledge, Divya Jnanam, is like the fire. Bhasmasat kurute Arjuna, Krishna says. Now, in the 4th chapter, as we move to 4th chapter, Krishna explains or Krishna reveals the same transcendental knowledge to Arjuna, especially begins with, where is the source? How does this transcendental knowledge comes into the human society? So uh, Krishna tells Arjuna that he himself is the originator of this transcendental knowledge, Divya Jnana. And that's the 4th chapter, the yoga of wisdom. So Krishna tells Arjuna that he has given this knowledge to the gods, the demigods, or imam vivasvate yogan proktavan aham avyayam vivaswan manavi praha manur ikshvake abravit. So Krishna tells Arjuna that the knowledge, the Divya Jnana, the knowledge begins with Krishna, and he first gives it to one of the lines of, the way the knowledge comes down. Krishna says, I gave it to Sun God gave it to, um, Vivaswan, Manu, Ikshvaku in that line. And Krishna says, this knowledge comes in parampara like that. It flows, right? But with the flow, it it does get diluted or lost with time. So Arjuna inquires that this loss is possible. This loss happens. So how do you ensure, Krishna, that once again it gets revived? Krishna says, I appear in this world again and again and again. Hmm? Krishna tells Arjuna that He has taken many births before, and he's eternal. And Krishna comes to this world to revive the dharma. And in his present incarnation, which is as Krishna, he is here to give the same knowledge to Arjuna. And Krishna explains that one can worship God, one can worship Krishna through one's action, right? And Krishna talks about how everyone is trying to approach, ultimately with their actions, they're trying to approach God, they're trying to approach Krishna, and it is Krishna who reciprocates. So, this is the summary of the chapter. I will show you the PPT now, which again has an acronym, and then we'll go verse by verse, and that's how we'll complete the chapter. Let's check where is my PPT. Okay, is it visible to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we are in the fourth chapter. The acronym for this chapter would be EARS, ears. Okay, so the first section from verse 1 to 10, the section is E, is eternal education. So Krishna informs Arjuna that this Divya Jnana, which is like fire, knowledge compared to fire, which can burn off all impurities, this Divya Jnana comes down in parampara. Parampara is disciplic succession, begins with Krishna, and one of those paramparas, disciplic successions, Krishna says, it begins with Lord Krishna, then Vivaswan, then Manu, and then Ikshvaku. That's 4.1 verse. Knowledge begins with God, and then it flows in parampara. Krishna giving to Vivaswan, Vivaswan giving to his disciple Manu, Manu giving to his disciple Ikshvaku. Yes, but Krishna says, Sa kale neha mahata yogo nashtah parantapa. The time factor is so powerful, even the yoga gets lost. This knowledge seems to be lost or diluted because of the effect of time. So Krishna says, I come again and again to revive this knowledge. Okay. And through scriptures, we get so many Vedic truths, indefeatable Vedic truths, which today science is also, science has found that how the knowledge given in scriptures may not be clear. Spiritual knowledge, even material knowledge given in scriptures, Vedic scriptures, is so perfect, right? Like Srimad Bhagavatam gives the entire human embryology, right? A set of 30 verses, close to 30 verses, and it matches the modern day medical research, how the baby grows in the embryo. Vedas state how cow dung is pure, how plants have life, yoga, meditation, Vastu Shastra, astronomy, astrology, maybe the material side of the life, but even that knowledge is so perfectly given there. What to say about Rigveda, Yajurveda, the Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutras, so much vast bank of knowledge. And generations have benefited from this knowledge. So this knowledge, especially the transcendental knowledge, the Divya Jnana, the knowledge about God, soul, the relationship of the soul with God, right? This comes in 4 sampradayas, the 4 disciplic succession. So if you see on the screen, on the leftmost part is Lakshmi, the consort of Krishna. Then you have Brahma, then you have Shiva, and then you have 4 Kumaras sitting on the high seat. So knowledge begins with God, and first the 4 sampradaya. The first is Shri Sampradaya, that is Lakshmi ji. Then Brahma Sampradaya, that is Lord Brahma. Then Rudra Sampradaya, that's Lord Shiva. And the 4 Kumaras, that is Kumara Sampradaya. 4 lines of flow of knowledge. And in the recent past, the most important teachers, acharyas who have come in each of these lines, Sri Sampradaya is Ramanujacharya, Brahma Sampradaya, Madhvacharya, then for Rudra Sampradaya, they have Vishnu Swami, and the four Kumaras. In the recent past, the most prominent teacher who has been in that line of disciplic succession is Nimbaraka Swami. So, how this knowledge, the example is given, Srila Prabhupada gives the example just like a ripe mango, right? The ripe mango is, somebody climbs up the tree, plucks the mango, and hands out the mango to somebody. That person gives across to someone, and this is how the ripe mango is brought down very safe to the ground. Krishna Prabhupada says, similarly, this transcendental knowledge is to be handled or given down in parampara, guru giving to disciple. Right? So if anybody says, I'm going to speak about spirituality, spiritual knowledge, the aspirant can ask a question. Please tell me, which university have you studied? Which disciplic succession do you belong to? Right? So if you go to Sri Rangam, this place in South India, you'll find the followers of Sri Sampradaya there. If you go to Udupi, Karnataka in India, you'll find Madhvacharya's followers, and ISKCON also is in the line of Madhvacharya, Brahma Sampradaya. Then you have Vishnu Swami, Rudra Sampradaya. You'll find them in the North India. And same case with Nimbaraka Swami, the Kumara Sampradaya followers. Right? So a chain of acharyas, spiritual teachers till date, who hand down the same transcendental knowledge. So what is important here in the disciplic succession? Krishna says it has to be given as it is. No new additions, no deletions, no updations. Whatever was perfect is given, and that same perfect knowledge has to be perfectly handed down as it is to the next generation. So, our teachings are authoritative, pure, and safe to accept, right? So, Srila Prabhupada, who has given the Bhagavad Gita as it is, he is one of the gurus in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, it begins with Brahma, and that's how the knowledge is pure. Srila Prabhupada would say, before he gave the Bhagavad Gita as it is, there were more than 600 translations of the same Bhagavad Gita available in the American Library of Congress. What Congress Library? So Prabhupada would say that Arjuna, first in the initial part of Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, I want to do on my own, and I don't want to listen to you, Krishna. By the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, I am your devotee now. I will do as you say, Krishna, as you instruct me. So Prabhupada says, study. If Arjuna is the first student in this disciplic succession, which begins with Krishna in this yuga, and Arjuna, who was not a devotee, by the end of Bhagavad Gita becomes a devotee. Prabhupada says the success of studying Bhagavad Gita is, for any student would be, if you become a devotee of God, if you become devoted to God, if you will follow what Krishna is saying in the Gita. Otherwise, study of Gita just for the sake of studying it has no meaning. If the same effect does not happen on us as it did on Arjuna. The first student, what was the result of studying Bhagavad Gita? The same should happen to every student. Right? Then Krishna says, Arjuna, why am I speaking this knowledge to you? Why have you? If Arjuna says, Krishna, this knowledge is so rare, so special. You are taking names of which all personalities, and the knowledge itself is so pure. Why have you chosen me? Krishna says, Bhakto asime sakhacha iti, because you are my devotee, Bhakta, and you are my sakha, you are my friend. So, Prabhupada says, being a devotee, right, and surrender to Krishna is so important. Right? Then you can understand Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, if somebody feels, oh, Krishna was some historical personality, some politician, some great guy of that era, no. Krishna, you understand that transcendental knowledge begins with Krishna. That's his position. He's God. And Krishna says, because you're my devotee and my friend, I am speaking this rahasyam, this secret. As ISKCON, we are very famous for distributing Bhagavad Gita every December marathon. And ISKCON itself has distributed millions and millions of copies of Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is still saying in this verse, it is rahasyam, it is secret. It remains a secret for those who do not follow the system by which it should be studied. Otherwise, just having Bhagavad Gita, like, somebody gives me a laptop and says, please use it. And I try to, switch on the laptop, but I have the laptop with me, but I don't have the password. What's the use? Similarly, Bhagavad Gita, you may have the book with you, but there's a password. Bhakto sime sakhacha iti. If your attitude is not of devotion to Krishna, then you will not be able to make out anything here. Even in any school or college, they expect us to become devoted. They will create a timetable for us, and we are expected to come to the university. We are supposed to attend the classes, go through all the exams. They expect devotion. That's what Krishna is saying here. Bhakto sime sakhachat iti. Now, Arjuna, this whole chapter suddenly turns to a deeper level. Vishwanath Thakur, one of our acharyas, he says Krishna would not have turned to the series of verses that he's going to recite after this if Arjuna would not have asked a question. Arjuna interjects Krishna and says, I have a question here. He says, Krishna, you're a very cultured person, right? How are you saying that you gave this knowledge to sun god who is your superior? Juniors, do not, teach superiors, seniors. And more than that, Krishna, you and I are contemporaries. I was born now, you also around, we are like contemporaries. How do you say that you gave it to sun god? So Arjuna is saying atheistic people, they consider Krishna as ordinary man and may not believe that Krishna instructed to sun god. So Arjuna, first of all, makes Krishna, I'm using this one, he makes Krishna introduce himself properly. Otherwise, atheistic people, they will not understand. They will say, oh, some bluff going on here. But Arjuna interjects Krishna and will ask a question like this. How am I to understand, Krishna, that you spoke it to sun god? You, being cultured, you will not teach your superior. More than that, how can you say that you were present when, sun god, right? When sun god how can you say that? So, Srila Prabhupada says that there are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instructions. Here is a warning about such misleading paths, Srila Prabhupada says. Now, Krishna introduces himself and reveals his divine nature. He says, Arjuna, Bahuni me vatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Arjuna, you and I have taken many births, but there is a difference. Tanya aham ved sarvani natvam veta parantapa. Krishna clearly brings difference between God and difference between Arjuna. That is, Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna is saying, I remember all my appearances. Arjuna, you do not. You tend to forget. So as soul, right? Krishna is saying, you have this tendency to forget with every birth, but I do not. My position as God remains, and I don't forget, right? So I appear. Then Krishna says, Ajopi son avyayatma aja api. Krishna says, I am unborn. Uh, I'm imperishable. I'm avyayatma. Bhutanam Ishvaro. I'm the God of all. Prakritim swamadisthaya sambhavami atma mayaya. Krishna says, I appear under the influence of my internal energy, Atma Maya. Right? We take birth under, as souls, we take birth under the influence of external energy. How do you know? We have tendency to forget. The external energy works on us. So Krishna has two energies, internal and external. As soul who have rebelled against God, we take birth under external energy. And with every change of body, with every birth, we forget the past. But Krishna is saying, Sambhavami, I appear Atma Maya under my internal energy, and that's how I don't forget my past. Right? So, what happens? As soul, we have a material body covering us and material beauty. That's what the slide is saying. But when Krishna appears, he doesn't have to take a material body. God, Krishna, when he appears, his appearance happens in his own self-same body, spiritual body. We as soul, we are spirit, but covered with a material body. That's the difference between us and God. Right? So now if we are asked, please tell, why did you take birth? What is your purpose? And we will say, I don't know why I took birth, and I am just, going about my life and seeing with every passing day, okay, now next, what happens? But when Arjuna asked Krishna, please introduce yourself, Krishna is very clear. I don't forget my, every appearance. I appear for a purpose. Why do I appear? Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamya aham. Krishna is saying, whenever and wherever there is decline of religion, dharma, I appear to protect dharma and to annihilate the adharma. Right? I appear again and again in different millenniums. Right? So I will once again, in case anybody has missed what I had said, the entire chapter name is Transcendental Knowledge. Everything about knowledge should have been discussed here. But suddenly we are discussing about Krishna, the originator of all the knowledge, because Arjuna asked such a question. Krishna, please clarify about your position first. Right? Because you are the originator of this knowledge. And not just given to Arjuna, Krishna has said that I gave it to Sun God. Right? So, why is it necessary for Krishna to personally appear? Paritranaya sadhunam. Krishna says, I appear for my devotees. Because my devotees, my devotees who are in this world, material world, they are feeling separation from me. To relieve them of that separation, I appear in this world. And vinashaya cha dushkritam, and to annihilate the miscreants, right? Annihilate those who are dushkritis, annihilate those who are adharmis, annihilate those who are going exactly against the principles that I have given as transcendental knowledge. I come to finish them. Right? And dharma, and again re-establish dharma. Again, whatever is lost because of the effect of time, I once again revive that knowledge, so that those souls who can take shelter of this knowledge, and liberate themselves and come back to me. And when do I appear? Sambhavami. I appear yuge yuge, every yuga. Now, what is every yuga? Time, as per Vedic understanding, is divided into 4 yugas, cycles. Just like, okay, in a day we have morning, afternoon, evening, and night. 4 stages. Similarly, time is divided Sati Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And after Kali Yuga, again Sati Yuga. It's a cyclic. The way time moves is cyclic. Right? So, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. And Sati Yuga is the best time for Dharma. Then it falls. Then Treta. Then it further falls. Dwapar. And the worst time, worst age for Dharma is the Kali Yuga. And once Kali Yuga will end, once again Satyuga will begin. So Krishna says, every yuga I appear. Now there can be a huge discussion on this verse, but every yuga Krishna does not come. Krishna sends his avatars. Krishna sends his incarnations, right, to do the same job. But because they perform the same function that Krishna is supposed to do, Krishna is saying, I appear again and again in every yuga. Okay, now what happens to us? Our experience is our birth. We don't know why we took birth. We continue living, and when will we die? I have no idea, right? And all my activities, sometimes I only regret about my life, what all happened, Baba, what all I ended up doing. But Krishna talks about his, transcendental appearance. He says, Janma karma cha me divyam. My birth and my activities, Arjuna, are divyam, are transcendental, right? So Krishna's birth, we are aware how he appeared in the prison house of Kamsa. When Vasudeva and Devaki, they saw the baby, you see in the photograph on the screen, they first saw Krishna in the four-handed form, and then it was Devaki who said, how will I hide you away from Kamsa? Then Krishna said, okay, I'll take the baby form with all peacock feather, with his flute, everything with him. Janma, Krishna's appearance. And what about his karma activities? Oh, by discussing his activities, we get liberated. That's Krishna's activities, Leela. Right? So, when Srila Prabhupada would say, when Krishna does something, it is called pastime. Right? Whatever Krishna does, his activities are called pastime. Right? And whatever we do, actually, that is time pass. Pastime, time pass. Right? Whatever we end up doing. So, Krishna is saying, Janma karma cheme divyam. If somebody understands this properly, how Krishna's birth and activities are transcendental, if Veti Tattvataha, Krishna says there is a blessing. What is the blessing? Just by understanding Krishna properly. So this is transcendental knowledge now about himself. Even knowing about Krishna properly, Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma, individual souls who try to understand Krishna properly, if they understand Krishna properly, Tattvataha, as it is, then when they give up the body, right, like, I, Gaurav Prabhu, Rohan Prabhu, Gokul, right, or Melody, what is Krishna saying? All of you, Krishna is telling, if you understand me properly, my birth and my activities, what will happen? Upon giving this body, which all of us have to give up one day, because you understand Krishna properly, you will not have to take birth again. So the punishment on the soul, for the soul, is we are going through cycle of birth and death, taking birth and dying, again taking birth and again dying. Krishna is saying you will be saved from this cycle and get liberated just by understanding that Krishna's janma and karma are divya. His birth and activities are transcendental. Then Arjuna may say, okay, I will come out of the cycle of birth and death. And where will I go? Where will the soul go? Krishna says, no iti, you will not take janma again. Mam iti, you will come back to me, Krishna, Arjuna. Right? So by understanding Krishna's janma, we will not take janma again. but go back to Krishna, to his abode. Right? Then Krishna says, now Arjuna may be interested. Very nice. I want to, I want to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Any chance? And Krishna gives assurance. Arjuna, many have come back. Many have come out of cycle of birth and death by understanding Krishna's greatness. Vitaraga bhaya krodha, by giving up their attachment, their anger, their fear, right? All these tendencies, manmaya, by focusing their mind upon me, mam upashtrita, by taking my shelter. Krishna says, bahavo, many before, by jnana and tapasa, what have they done? Puta, they have become purified. Mad bhavamagata, they have come back to me. So if Arjuna says, oh, have there been any cases for those who have not taken birth again? Krishna says, bahavo, by taking my shelter, many have crossed over this ocean of mortal existence. Right? Okay. So give up raga, attachment, bhaya, fear of spiritual identity, and krodha, conception of void from frustration. And Krishna says, many have come back to me. Okay. Let's go to the second letter in our acronym, years. A is accurate understanding. EARS. Okay, let's go to A, that is accurate understanding. Okay. Now, Divya Jnana chapter continues. Right? Krishna first spoke about himself because Arjuna asked so. Okay, I will tell about Divyata, about my Janma and activities. Now Krishna is talking about, okay, everyone is coming to God. Okay. So do all paths not lead to same goal? Like some people will say, oh, you take any spiritual path or any meditation or anything, ultimately everyone has to reach to the same goal. So Krishna answers this. Why is there worship of many gods? Right? Especially in India, you will find so many gods. Right? Why is that worship there? And also something Krishna talks about, the whole society of human beings especially should be so organized that the spiritual purpose remains in focus. Otherwise, if the society is not organized properly, everyone thinks I am the body and everyone focuses on the body and everyone and the bodily conception of life continues with no success for the soul to come out of cycle of birth and death. So Krishna will talk about the organization of the social system, which generally the Britishers would say caste system. That's what they would call it as. So Krishna clarifies that also in this section. Okay, let's get into it. So Krishna's dedicated devotees considers his birth and activities to be divine and eternal. Janma karma chame divyam. But others who approach him with different goals, right? They may not consider, right? Like Prabhupada says, you go to any, even amongst the cannibals, right? You will find some concept of God. If they're humans, they will accept the human society no matter where you go, like entire world. You'll find some concept of religion. Everyone approaching God. They may not know who is God. They may not understand how Krishna is God. They may have their own understanding of God. And in India especially, you will find so many paths, so many claiming their understanding of God is highest. So many claiming we know God, our Guru is God, our okay. So Krishna tells Arjuna, everyone is approaching me, right? But they all approach me, and Krishna says, as per their desire, I reciprocate. So Krishna reciprocates with the worshipper's mood. So many paths, all leading to, everyone wants to get out of cycle of, everyone has different desires. Krishna is saying, getting out of cycle of birth and death and coming back to me. This is how transcendent knowledge should lead you. going back to God, right? Going back to where we have come from as soul, we are undergoing an imprisonment, right? In the world that we are now, material world. We do not belong here. We belong to the spiritual world. Knowledge will help me to come out of the ignorance that I'm in, and transcendental knowledge will help me to further go closer and go back to Krishna, go back to his abode, go back to the spiritual world, right? Now, many paths may be, recommended. Now, Krishna says, "Ye yathamam prapadyante," as they approach me, I reciprocate with them. Right? So, if somebody wants some material, benefits out of their, worship, Krishna says, "I give that." Somebody wants, heavenly planets to go to, I award that. If somebody wants some mystic perfections, Krishna says, "I give that." Somebody says, "I just want liberation," I award that. And for a devotee, if a devotee says, "Krishna, I want you, I want service to your lotus feet, I want to come back to the spiritual abode," Krishna says, "I am the one who awards it." Mama vartama nuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha. All are approaching me and I award what they want. So why do people worship? So now one may say, if Krishna is God, then everyone should come to Krishna. Why do they worship many gods? Krishna says, "Kankshata karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata kshipramhimanushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja." People worship demigods, devatas, right? As we say in India. So there is God and there are demigods. There is Bhagavan and there is devatas. There is prime minister and there are cabinet ministers, right? But cabinet ministers cannot be equated with the prime minister or the president, right? So simply God, and Prabhupada would call them demigods, right? So now it's like saying, this material world is compared to a jail. There are inmates inside, prisoners inside, and now the prisoner inside the jail, what should be the desire? The desire should be, "I accept my mistake. Please tell me how should I behave here and what should I do so that I will get out of the jail and become a free citizen once again." That should be the most ideal desire for a prisoner. But imagine prisoner inside the jail feels, "Oh, it seems to be a good place, not a bad bargain, by the way. Nice, I have bed to sleep on, they are giving me food. Oh, I can live here, a little work I have to do. Oh, wonderful." Imagine somebody wants to live within a jail only. That's many of us. We think this world is a good place. Okay, whatever it is, I want to be here. My house, my car, my bank balance and my family and this and that. We remain stuck, right? But once inside the jail, somebody may feel, okay, they are giving me food and clothing and this and that, but what about cigarettes? I want to get cigarettes inside. Now this guy will go to the constable and bribe the constable. "Can you get me some cigarettes inside?" And the constable will say, "Okay, I can, but you'll have to pay me this much." Yes. And the payment is done. Then next time this fellow feels inside the jail, the criminal feels, "Oh, I want to have homemade food." And the constable will say, "Hey, I cannot do this. You'll have to talk to my officer." He says, "Go ask the officer." "Oh, homemade food inside. We will charge something more for it." So all the bribe is being offered. And one day, this fellow inside the jail feels, so many things are coming inside. How about going outside? I can go outside and roam around. And the constable and the police officer say, "No, we cannot do that. No matter how much you pay, we cannot, give you freedom like that. That's not in our hands." But the inmate will say, then who can do it? The president can pardon. So many are approaching Krishna, but they have various desires, right? Many material desires, and if they can get them fulfilled, they feel okay, let it be that much. But one intelligent soul somewhere will feel, no, nothing inside the jail. I want to go out of the jail. So Krishna says, because they have material desires, right? Kshiprami manushilo ke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Now Krishna, just like the president is there, but he has his ministers, he has his secretaries, and he has so many department ministries. There is one prison ministry also is there, and in the prison ministry you have, the officer in the jail, you have constables there, right? So similarly, Krishna, to run the universal government, God has, Krishna also has many demigods, many devatas who play a functional role. Just like in a government, you will have, home ministry, defense ministry, health ministry. To run a government of a country, not just the prime minister. The prime minister will nominate, the ministers for various departments. So now Krishna also has put many ministers which are called demigods or devatas, right? So now those who are worshippers, those who have desires, they will say, I want good health. Okay, worship this devata. You want, you know, some wealth. Okay, worship this devata, this demigod. Because they have material desires and their desire is not yet pure. I want to get out of this jail. They still want something within the jail. Krishna says, because these devatas will fulfill their desire, a little bribe, a little worship, a little yajna, a little puja, and the devatas will say, okay, we give you. But devatas cannot help you get out of the jail. So Arjuna says, how do you regulate these souls, these people in this world? Right? They have to be regulated in a manner that everyone looks for the liberation path. Everyone looks for, going back home, back to Godhead. So Krishna says, for that reason, through the scriptures, what I have instructed is divide the society. I won't use the word divide, arrange the society in 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. Social system, right, where there are 4 social position orders and 4 spiritual orders. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. So Krishna says the society should be ideally divided, and that's what Vedic society was. 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. 4 varna means social orders: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Like you see our body, there is a head, there are hands, there's belly, and there are feet, there are legs. 4 different departments within the body, for a body. So head is also required, hand is needed, belly and legs. But the legs cannot do the job of the head. The head cannot do the job of the hands. Similarly, society, there will be people who will be like Brahmanas, intellectual class, Kshatriyas, the warrior class, the Vaishyas, the business class, and Shudras, who will serve the other 3 sections of the society, the working class. So the intelligent class, the warrior class, the business class, and the worker class. So Krishna says 4 orders, social orders, and then it's not that just you keep the society very nice. The whole idea behind an orderly society is that everybody is pursuing the spiritual path. Everybody, all the souls get delivered, liberated. So Krishna says there have to be 4 spiritual orders also. Which are the 4 spiritual orders? Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So when a kid is 5 years old, is sent to Guru's ashram to live as brahmachari. Very serious study of scriptures under the guidance of Guru. Very serious, study of Divya Jnana, which is this chapter title, under the guidance of Guru. Then, after brahmacharya, one may say, yes, I want to get into grahastha ashram, the family life. But once again, it's an ashrama. Spiritual duties are there in that, when you're living as a family. And so up to 25 years of age, one may live as brahmachari in Guru's ashram, study. Then 25 to 50, the grahastha ashram. From 50, as one reaches the age of 50, the husband and wife both will take to vanaprastha ashram. They will take to the next order out of the four, the next order, vanaprastha, where they'll take to serious vows of together practicing spiritual knowledge that they had received before. And ultimately, at a certain age, the husband takes sannyasa, the fourth order, and the wife comes back to continue her spiritual practice under the protection of the son, eldest son, and the husband moves on to take sannyas so that preaching can happen. He becomes an itinerant preacher, right? One who will guide the remaining three orders of the society. So 4 social orders, 4 spiritual orders. Now, how do you make this, division in the society? Not by birth. Guna by qualities and karma by activities. Vibhagashaha, vibhaga. Right? Krishna is not saying it should be done by birth. Oh, by birth somebody is Brahmana, by birth somebody is Kshatriya. No, not Janma Karma Vibhagashaha, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. And Krishna says, Tasya Kartaram, I have designed this division, but I am not one of them. Right? I don't fall into any of those categories. I am beyond. Right? So now, question may be asked, Krishna has appeared in the Kshatriya family, Chandravamsha, and he also seemed to be, performing his duties as a Kshatriya. Right? So Krishna says, Namam karmani limpanti. Even if you find me, doing so many activities amongst the Pandavas, and, he's on the Kurukshetra war field, he's in Dwarka as a, king. Krishna says, I do not get affected by karma. If I do any activity, the result catches me. Karma. Krishna says, I have no karma. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale spriha. And I don't have a spriha. I don't have any attachment for the fruits of the activities. And Krishna says, one who understands him like that, iti mam yo abhijanati. So Krishna is the non-doer. He always remains the non-doer. And if you understand Krishna like this, oh, no karma for Krishna. He is not attached to the results of his activities. Krishna says, karma bhir nasa badhyate. One who understands Krishna properly like this will not be bound by karma. One will get freed of one's own karma. Right? So by understanding this about me, all the liberated soul in ancient times did their work without desire. That's text 15. Okay. Now begins a section, understanding karma on the platform of jnana. Right? So having said that, one has to work according to the examples of the previous bona fide devotees. Now, Krishna works, but he doesn't get attached. So if we go back, liberated souls in ancient times, Krishna says, they understand my position as Krishna and they work without desire. After having said this, the link to the next section, 16 to 24th verse, is that one should follow the examples of the previous devotees, right? And how Krishna explained why one's action should not be independent. I don't listen to anybody. I don't see anybody's example. I don't follow Krishna. No, don't live like this. There are great souls who have already shown the path to us. Krishna has already spoken in the Bhagavad Gita and in scriptures. Never live independent life. Live as per the scriptures and as per the guidance. So, R, removing reactions. That's the next letter in our acronym. Years. So, 16 to 24th verse. Okay. Now, Krishna here in the 4th chapter, in the name of the chapter is Divya Jnana, but the discussion about karma is here. Action. Why? Because action produces reaction, and that reaction binds me to the cycle of birth and death. What will save me? Krishna says this Divya Jnana, transcendental knowledge will save me. Right? So Krishna says, Karmano hi api bodhavyam. One should be very carefully studying. What is this karma? Not just go to karma cafe or not just talk about, the word, oh, karma that word karma has become like a catchword, and, anybody says karma seems, maybe very intelligent guy. No, Krishna is saying go deeper, understand karmano api bodhavyam, understand what is karma, and then Krishna is bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, understand what is, vikarmaha, faulty action, bad action, wrong action. And then Krishna says akarmanascha bodhavyam, understand what is akarma, right? Action, that is liberating action. Gahana karmano gatihi. This karma is very difficult to understand, Krishna, Arjuna. The way karma works, like I cannot say why a certain kind of a face cut, a certain parents, a certain situations in my life. What if somebody says, what did I do to receive this kind of a body? Somebody is born in Canada, somebody in India, somebody in America. Why? Why souls are getting births like this? Somebody is born with a silver spoon. Somebody is, so poverty stricken from birth and practically working, in India, like now I'm in Mumbai, people here are working 18 hours, 20 hours. Now, one will say, if you work, you make money, but they don't seem to be. Why? Why are they not able to? Right? So, Krishna says, the way karma works, you cannot say. It's like saying, if I get malaria because of mosquito bite, and if I ask the doctor, tell me which mosquito bit me. So you cannot say like that now, which mosquito bit you. Similarly, what past action is bringing this reaction to me today? Krishna says, very difficult to understand. A little bit, astronomy, Jyotisha, they call it. They will see the lines on your hand. They will check your birth chart and they can give little indication. But karma is very... So Krishna says 3 things to be understood. Karma, vikarma, and akarma. 3 words are there. You see in this word. The first line has the first word karmana. Second line has the last word vikarmana. Third line has akarmana. So karma means actions prescribed by scriptures. Vikarma means exactly opposite to what scriptures have given. Vikarma. And akarma is liberating action. Action has to be performed. The soul is there, the body is there. Action has to be performed, right? But what action should be performed? If scriptural is karmana, exactly opposite to scriptures, that is papa is vikarmana. And akarmana means actions which are done for the favor of God, as actions done to please Krishna. These actions are liberating actions. I'll give some example for it. Okay. So first Krishna says one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. Right? Is it okay? I'll not explain this, otherwise, we've already gone beyond our stipulated time. I think we began 8 minutes late. Is it okay if I continue for another 10 minutes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So working on one's own account and working on God's account, Prabhupada would explain it like this. Now, a cashier in the bank receives thousands and thousands of dollars right? Every day people may come and deposit in the bank, right? But the cashier just counts and puts it in the bank. But if the cashier decides, let me take a penny for myself, arrested. No, you're supposed to work for the bank. The bank will decide how much salary to give you, but you cannot keep a penny for yourself. As soon as you do karma, and if you work for the bank, karma. If you steal a penny, we karma, right? Now see the next example. A soldier killing, you know, enemies, is awarded a, a, a medallion by the government, right? But the same soldier kills a neighbor in his village, in his town, is arrested. When the action is done on one's own account, my enemy, then you get arrested. But enemy of the country, you kill, the government rewards you. So I have to perform action for my own. I get stuck in the cycle of birth and death. But for Krishna's purpose, I perform action for God's pleasure, then I get liberated. So Arjuna fighting because Krishna is asking him to dharma. Duryodhan doing the same fighting, right? That's his selfish plan. Right? Okay. So the science of karma, right? What happens as we perform actions in this world? What happens? The result of that action may not accrue right away. Like saying, I eat something, very spicy food in the night, but the reaction comes in the morning. My belly goes upset, right? So somebody, no, I ate in the night. Why is my belly upset in the morning? No, reaction takes time. Right? Or, out of the way I go and slap somebody, and the reaction comes right instant karma. Oh, that guy also slaps me back. So action produces reaction in different time. It's not this action will all actions. It's not the and some actions. It's like saying I sow a seed today and I will reap the fruits after maybe 4 months, 6 months, 1 year. See, the reaction is coming, very late, delayed reaction, right? Or somebody may expect, oh, a couple may say we want to have a baby. Wait at least 9 months. Then the baby will take birth. Similarly, some actions will take many lives sometimes. May not this life. The reaction will come in next life. The same soul is only changing the body. The soul is the same, and the soul carries the karma, which is called destiny. That becomes my destiny. So we make our destiny by our karma. So what am I reaping today? I am reaping my past karma, and I call it, oh, that was destined, that was destined. So destiny determines the consequences of our actions, right? But not our actions themselves. So my destiny says that, I should be suffering this much and I should be having a certain level of happiness in my life. But I still have the free will to choose. No, right? I do not want to further go into this happiness and suffering business. I want to serve Krishna. I want to surrender to Krishna. That free will is always there with me. Now Krishna says the benefits of this transcendental knowledge that I am giving in this Bhagavad Gita. What is the benefit? Especially the knowledge of akarma, actions which are pleasing to God, and God saves me, protects me, right, from the reactions of the world. Like, in ISKCON, those of you who have been to the ISKCON temple, they will serve you food, but they will not call it food. They will call it prasad. This is sanctified food, they will say. What is the difference? It's same rice, dal, chapati, sabji. It is the same vegetable, it is the same dal, it is the same rice. No, it is not. Looks like that, but it has been offered to God. It has been offered to Krishna. It has been offered to the deities. Food offered to the deities has no more karma in it now. And it is karma free diet. That means the reactions have been taken away from it. Now, when you honor, when you eat that food or that prasad, you don't take karma, but you get relieved of previous karma also. Just because that action, eating, has been connected to God, no reactions to your work now, no reactions to your eating. Otherwise, just imagine if somebody is eating non-veg, right? There you have to kill. It's a murder. How much reaction should come? Because I wanted to eat, an animal was murdered. Even a plant is murdered that way for a vegetarian stuff to be eaten. So we should not be vegetarian, we should not be non-vegetarian. Both will bind me in karma. How do I get relieved of karma? Now I eat only prasad, something that is offered to Krishna. It has to be as merciful as possible, which means vegetarian. It should be as, favorable for my spiritual practice. So, it should not have rajoguna, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So the scriptures and Ayurveda says, especially two items, onion and garlic, they increase passion and ignorance. So that also avoided. And that food which is vegetarian without onion, garlic, that I offer it to God, I offer it to Krishna. And when I accept it, it is prasad. It is sanctified food now, with no reactions coming to me, because it has been accepted by Krishna first. And because I followed the system Krishna has made, offer it to me and then eat, I get saved from my past destiny or my past karma, which is in the form of destiny for me. So we all are carrying our karma on our back from our past life. How do I get relieved? Krishna says, by our karma. What does it do? This knowledge, jnana, burns up the karma. Jnana Agni, the fire of this transcendental knowledge, burns up the past, the reactions of the past activities. Right? Then Krishna talks about, so now on this path of Jnana Yoga, there are two stages, Arurukshaha and Arudaha. One who is the beginner and one who is the perfected being, personality. Okay, I'll not explain that section now. Now Krishna talks about the sacrifice, yajna. Everyone should perform action as sacrifice to God. All educate. So you'll find in Vedic terms, in the Sanatan Dharma, for everything they would invoke God. For everything, for the pleasure of God. So like yajna, the fire sacrifice to be done. Right? Generally, sacrifice means fire sacrifice, they would say. Even our life to be sacrificed for the purpose of God. Right? Our actions for the purpose of God. Our studies for the purpose of God. Krishna says, when you perform all activities for yajna, as yajna, it will help you to advance on the spiritual path. Now let's come to this sacrifice. S, ears. The last letter in our acronym EARS, and that's how the chapter will end. So Krishna now talks about various kinds of sacrifices. So there are people who will do demigod worship. They'll worship the devatas. They are karma yogis. For Indra, Chandra, Varun, Vayu, Durga, Shiva, Brahma, for everyone there is so many sacrifices given in the scriptures. Oh, but they're karma yogis. Through their action and the result, they want to appease these demigods and achieve something in this world. That's one kind of sacrifice. There are jnana yogis, right, who they will cultivate knowledge, right? That's their sacrifice, and they want to merge into the Brahman. the light coming from the effulgence coming from God's, Krishna's body, the fire of Brahman. There are those brahmacharis, right? Now you see the Varna and Ashram, I had explained the society. The brahmachari, what is the sacrifice for a brahmachari? Mind and sense control, right? Then there is those, the self-control. Then there is charity given in the scriptures. That's a sacrifice one does of one's, possessions. There is austerities mentioned in the scriptures. That's also tapa, is a sacrifice. Then yoga, Ashtanga yoga, scriptural study, pranayam. Krishna gives different types of sacrifices as mentioned in the scriptures. And what is the purpose? All sinful reactions get destroyed. Right? When one performs sacrifices, what is sacrifice? Yajna. It's an activity meant for the pleasure of God. And it can be at various levels. But Krishna here says in this section, without sacrifice, you cannot live happily in this life or the next. Right? It's like saying, if my actions are against the government of the day, or of government of the land, or government of the country, I cannot be peaceful in that country. I cannot live happily in that country. Similarly, when my actions are for the pleasure, they are as a sacrifice for God, then I can live happily in this life and the next. And many types of sacrifices are recommended in the Vedas for Varna and Ashrama, different Varna and different Ashrama. And Krishna says, ultimately, all yajna leads to jnana, knowledge. Sacrifice leads to knowledge. Why does sacrifice lead to knowledge? Because now you're offering the action and the results both as for the pleasure of God. So you are detached. And in the detached condition, knowledge can get awakened. An attached person cannot awaken knowledge. Like for all of you who are there online now, you have taken out this 1 hour. Let us hear. So you actually became detached from many activities which you could have otherwise done in this 1 hour. Knowledge will sit here. Knowledge will come in here. Right? So in a detached person, detached from action and knowledge, and detachment is, I want to offer it to God. Such a person, for that person, yajna will culminate in jnana, knowledge. Right? And how do you attain this knowledge? Krishna says in the verse 34, very, very important verse. You can take, this is for memorization also. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Krishna says you have to go to a guru, a living guru. What do you do? 3 things. Surrender to guru, inquire from guru, and serve guru. Then this divya jnana, this transcendent knowledge. So method, results have already been discussed. The glories have been discussed. Now the process of attaining this transcendent knowledge. Krishna says, if all have to, get this transcendent knowledge, the source begins with Krishna. The chapter, Krishna says, I am the originator of this transcendent knowledge. But in between, you want to go to a guru in a parampara. What do I do with guru? I pay $100 and say, give me knowledge. No, knowledge will not come like that. Surrender, inquiry, and service. 3 things have to be done in relation to guru. Then you attain knowledge. What is the glories? Krishna continues, na punarmoham. You will not get bewildered. It will bestow you pure vision while living in this world. It will destroy your sins. It will destroy all reactions. And this knowledge is the purest. Pavitram, there is nothing more pure than this knowledge. This knowledge purifies the soul. How long will it take to gain this knowledge? Somebody says, Arjuna is interested. Wow, very nice. How long will it take, Krishna? Will it take many lives to attain this transcendent knowledge? Krishna says, if you have faith, Shraddha, then you can get it. Shraddhavan lavate jnanam. One who has Shraddha, faith, will attain this transcendent knowledge. Tatparaha, very focused, very like one pointed attempt, samyatendriya, you'll have to do sense control, right? And Krishna achirena adhigach, and very quickly you'll get it. Like sometimes people feel, oh, spirituality is meant for, some different class of people, maybe not meant for me. Even if I begin, how? No, Krishna is saying begin, but begin with faith. Keep faith. Okay, it will happen, right? Achirena, very soon you will attain perfection. Who cannot attain perfection? Three class of people. Adnya, the unintelligent. Ashraddha, those who are faithless. And Samshayatma, the doubting soul. So those who lack intelligence, those who are faithless, and those who are doubtful, they will never attain this transcendental knowledge. Right? And Krishna tells Arjuna ultimately in the last verse, Tasmat Arjuna Uttishta Bharat. Atishta Uttishta. Get up and perform your duty for my sake. Fight this war. And Krishna ends the chapter here. Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments for the fourth chapter?
Diti Mataji, you can go ahead with your question.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the chapter. It was really great knowledge. So I wanted to ask, like you said, obtain a guru, right? Because guru is like a link to ultimate God and to the ultimate path which we are leading to, which we want to go to. And my grandmother, where I got my most spiritual knowledge from, she also says that a guru is really required, right? Because they link. So basically, I have a guru, and we have like gatherings sometimes, just like we go to ISKCON and have prasadam, just the same way. And I was fasting that day when we had the gathering. So this is the example, but my question to you is, what if the teachings, that Gita has, that you are providing to us, are different from what the guru is giving us? So Ekadashi is the most important fasting for us, right? Right? And Ekadashi, I try to fast. I can't do it every time, but I try. And then I was fasting for Shivaratri when I went to the gathering, and I didn't have a pleasant experience. So at the end, because I had fast, so basically when we had the gathering and after, we have to have prasadam, right? And I couldn't have prasadam because I was fasting the whole day, and the whole night I have to worship, and the next day I have to break the fast, right? Like at Parana time. So one lady from there was like, oh, you shouldn't fast because our guru, he didn't allow fast, and he didn't say like you should not like do that kind of stuff or that kind of suffering to your body to fast. But I was like, no, I don't want to relate it to any other thing, but I fast because it helps me meditate better.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I didn't like it, and that kind of destroyed my whole, my thought for the whole day, because I was really into meditation. That was Shivratri, right? Really into meditation the whole day, the whole night. And this very thought, whether am I doing it right? Because I'm not following what my guru said, but I'm doing what my dharma, my religion or whatever, Sanatan Dharma, whatever preaches us to, right? So what to do when it differs?
Yeah. So first of all, you said the most important thing is tapasya. No. Tapasya is something that helps us to do the most important part. As we go into the remainder of Bhagavad Gita, you'll find, especially the middle 6 chapters, Krishna will say the spiritual process is to chant the holy name. So if you've been to ISKCON temple, you'll find they'll chant the name of God. right? So
Yes.
that's the most important. So our tapasya, our upavas, Ekadashi upavas, Shivaratri upavas has to bring us to that real thing. So
Right.
it's like saying, going to the school, kids end up doing so many things, but the purpose of education, purpose was to get educated and reform one's character. But if that is not happening and rest of the things, we are focused upon a lot, then the purpose of education is lost. So purpose of going to a temple, having a guru and, spiritual life is, the process is to chant the holy name as per this age. Okay. Now I coming to your question. When, there is a difference in opinion, what do I do? Right? First of all, if I say that I have a guru, I should be able to say which parampara do they belong to, does the guru belong to? You have a right to ask the guru the question. Please tell me which parampara. From Krishna, I said 4 paramparas are there, Vaishnava Sampradayas. Lakshmi, Sri Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, and Rudra Sampradaya. So Guru should be able to say in the which disciplic line that person is coming. And even if somebody is coming in a disciplic line, we have to check, is the person giving me as it is knowledge? Otherwise, Krishna says, whenever it gets lost, I appear again. I appear again to rectify the situation. So now, so when Guru differs, we should first go back and check the university affiliation, then go and check, is the knowledge being given the same? And then if it is there, if the affiliation university, the parampara is very clear, the knowledge is as it is, then check with oneself. Am I doing the 3 things Krishna is saying? Surrender to Guru, right? Inquire from Guru and serve Guru. These 3 things have to happen, right? And generally our traditional route that we have, and this Divya Jnana, this disciplic succession, many times, like I also, before coming to ISKCON, I had my guru, I would practice certain things, right? But as I started studying Bhagavad Gita, I realized that this is really transcendent. This is Divya. What I was being taught before, even if that person was guru, he initiated me, I saw that the sacrifice that is offering, asking me to perform, the path that is giving is not the highest, leading me to the highest. When I came to ISKCON, when I studied Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, because I would study Bhagavad Gita before coming to ISKCON also. Every birthday, my father would gift me a Gita. And I had so many copies of it. But when I studied Bhagavad Gita as it is, I realized, whoa, the transcendence is something different only. Right? As soon as I understand it, when I come to the path and I continue, what my guru gave, I am grateful to that person. I will never be ungrateful. But I know what Srila Prabhupada is giving and what is the transcendental path, what Krishna is offering. So as soon as I come here, then I take guidance and accordingly move ahead. Okay?
Right. And one more question, as you said, like Krishna, like, we have demigods and we have Krishna as the ultimate God, right? So Krishna leads.
No, I don't say, Bhagavad Gita says so.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So basically, so would you consider Rama or Shiva as a demigod or the god? Because Shiva, if we also do, the Mahamrityunjay jap.
Yes, agreed. Madhuri, I understood your question. So Rama and Shiva are the avatars.
Okay.
They're the incarnations.
Okay.
Right? But from where are all the incarnations coming? Krishna will say in the Gita, you'll find 10th chapter, 8th verse. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhavas samanvitaha. Krishna says, I am the cause of all causes. Lord Shiva never said this. Even Lord Ram never says this. Only Krishna claiming. And in the you will find in the 11th chapter, Arjuna will say, Krishna, you made a great claim. Prove it. And Krishna will display his Vishwarupa, his universal form. We never hear Lord Ram showed universal form or, Lord Shiva showed universal form. They are avatars. And then Arjuna says, Krishna, wait. Somebody will say, Arey, jadoo tha, some magic. Can you show me your four-handed Vishnu form? And Krishna displayed his four-handed Vishnu form. And then Arjuna asked, in the 11th chapter, you will see Arjuna will say, is there still something more secret about you, Krishna? Then Krishna will once again display his two-handed form and he will say, this is the most secret form of mine. Deva hi apyasya rupasya nitya darshana kankshana. The great devatas, Brahma, Shiva, everyone, they are desiring, when will they get to see this form of mine when I appear as Krishna in my original form? Otherwise, Sambhavami yuge yuge, in different yugas, my avatars I send. So Rama comes, Narsingha comes, all are Vishnus. But the original Vishnu is Krishna. Okay?
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ramya Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have
Hare
two
Krishna.
questions with me. First question is regarding the demigod worship. Like we do know that Krishna he's a god, all the gods. But in our the South Indian tradition or in the family tradition, we value the worship of Kula Devata very dearly. Like it is a must. And then Ishtadevata or any deity. So how do you see Kula Devata do? Like, is it like demigod worship, or is it like or worshipping only Krishna is taken care under that? How do you see that? What is it? What is your viewpoint?
Okay. In your South India, what you said, because you said South India, that's why I'm saying it like this.
I
In
don't know
South
about
India,
others, but I know about
In,
mine. Yeah.
it's in South India, is it necessary to go to the primary school and then only you go to secondary and college? Or you can straight jump to secondary school or college? Is it necessary that you go to primary school?
Yeah.
Very good. So Kula Daivata, yes, very good. Everyone should have Kula Daivata, primary school. But you're supposed to graduate and move to secondary, move to college, right? So coming to Krishna, if it's Bhagavatam says, there's a tree. Now, tree, the most likable part of the tree is the fruit. But which part of the tree do you water, Mataji?
Okay.
Which part of the tree do you water?
Root.
Root. Why? Because if you water the root, you are very sure the fruits will be nourished, the leaves are nourished, the branches are nourished, the stem is nourished. But you cannot even see the root. You never see the root. But the root is the most important. So we may serve some Kula Devata, some Devata, some demigod, somebody. But as soon as we understand, when I serve Krishna, everyone is nourished. But if I serve the leaves separately, the root will not get nourishment. But if I serve the root, all the parts of the tree get nourishment. Right? So, Kula Devata, yes, rather than living, everyone should understand what is my Kula, what is my, like in India, in Bharata, they will ask, what is your Gotra? Anybody has taken birth as a human should have a Gotra. Gotra means from which rishis do which rishis, parampara are you from? Like in West, now Western people are very eager to know. There are startups in California which take your blood sample. They take your blood sample and they'll tell you how much of your blood, content is Polish or, French or, British. What is my origin? Who were my forefathers? But the Vedic system, we are all children of rishis. So we can have Kula Devata, we can have a Gotra and everything. But from where does it belong? The origin, the root, that is Krishna. So when we serve Krishna, when we surrender to Krishna, when we serve the root, all the demigods, all the Kula Devatas, everyone is served. Okay?
Okay. My second question is, it might be a little naive, but this has been a question from my childhood. Like you said, like Krishna says, he appears yuga after yuga, right? As and when there is a decline of dharma. And as you mentioned, there are 4 yugas, like Satyuga, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. And most of the avatars has happened during Satyuga only, when there is a predominant dharma that was happening.
Yeah.
Why is that so? But logically, like when there's a decline of dharma, he's supposed to appear more, no?
Yeah. He does appear in Kali Yuga also. But, to establish dharma in Satyuga, when everyone is dharmic, it's not that the demonic demons were not there that time. So every avatara you will find there was certain demon that he dealt, that the avatara dealt with, and that era, right? So similarly, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. But here nobody wants to practice dharma. Earlier there were those who even wanted to practice dharma. In Kali Yuga, everyone wants to go away from God, right? That's why in this Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga, it's not that the avatars have not happened. It's like, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been there, and Kalki avatar will come at the end, right? Okay, you do not want to practice dharma. Okay, there is one way that Kalki will finish the job and help all the souls by the end of Kali Yuga to quick appear in Satyuga and begin dharma once again, right? And Kalki will come, and Bhagavatam says all that Kalki will come is he'll come and finish everyone, right? So to establish dharma in the Satyuga, many avatars do appear. Yes, your observation is very nice, very correct. But when you are saying, everything was nice and good, no, that's not the case. There were demons like Hiranyakashipu that time. There was a Hiranyaksha that time also, that the avatars came and dealt with. Okay, there was a purpose of universal, creation to be done. The devatas and asuras, and then the Lord appears as Ajita. The Lord appears as the Kachyapa avatar, Manvantara. So even our Mohini Murti. The Lord appears as Manvantara avatars, Yuga avatars. So 5 types of avatars are there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Mukti Mataji, did you had a question? You were raising your hand earlier.
Yeah, sure. I'll ask my question to Prabhuji. First of all, it's a wonderful lecture. Thank you for enlightening us with such a wonderful, information from the Bhagavad Gita. I have a question that I know in the end you mentioned about 3 type of people who may not be able to absorb the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. The first one you mentioned was the unintelligent person. Now, for intelligence, there is one that you learn, right? You listen, you learn, you read. And the second part comes is adaptation, implementation, and how you're actually bringing it into your life. So, like, there's such a vast knowledge we learn from our lectures and classes. And sometimes when you get back to your daily life, you may forget about all the wonderful things we heard, we learned, and how one should lead their life. When the life challenges happen or something, you forget to implement it at that time, and you kind of feel like you're falling apart from, all the wonderful learnings you had. How can one really control that and make sure to remember to bring it more towards daily implementation? And that doesn't mean just the ritual things. The ritual is one part of it, but actually conditioning your soul in a way that it becomes your inherent nature to remember Krishna, to remember all the wonderful learnings we had.
Okay. So Agya is unintelligent, Ashraddha is the faithless, and the Samshayatma, the doubting soul. So the first 2 categories can be helped. Knowledge can be given by Guru. Shraddha can be attained from Guru. But doubts, when you get answers for it, right, one should stop there. But if continues to doubt, for a doubting soul, right, even Jesus, right, he had one doubting Thomas, one disciple, like that, right? So doubting, right, one may have doubts to clarify, but once you get clarification, just don't remain at that level. Try to apply something that Guru has already told you. But this doubting guy is a person who doesn't want to apply anything. Just keep on talking, and newer doubts keep on coming forth in the mind. But what do you practice? Right? Like one time I was giving a program, and one young boy, he had barrage of questions. He was like rapid fire playing with me. And I was giving answers. And at a point, I just stopped and I just asked him, what is the source of your knowledge? And he said, comics. Like, what? Comics? I said, I have no time for you. I will tell you two things. First, go and apply, right? And then come back to me. Let us see your doubts go away or not. Because application helps. Application also will clarify many of our doubts. So, Madan Mohan Malviya, the founder of Banaras Hindu University, right, Varanasi, he one time came to meet the spiritual guru of Prabhupada, who is Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Thakur. So Madan Mohan Malviya came to meet him, and Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur told him, I'm sorry, I'm busy with something, please wait for some time. So he was given a chair to wait, and one devotee in the temple, he thought, I need some help for some service. He didn't know who is this guy. He quickly came and I said, oh, please come, help me in the kitchen. And Madan Mohan Malviya, the founder of Banaras Hindu University, was made to wash pots in the kitchen. And after some time, Guru came down and said, oh, where is this person? And he saw he's in the kitchen. And he said, you had certain questions. He said, all questions are resolved because I could serve. So service to God, Krishna is sitting in the heart as Paramatma. When you do favorable service, Krishna also helps to remove the doubts. Right? So Adme can be helped. Those who are faithless, they can be helped. Doubting a fellow has to do a lot of service and has to receive a lot of blessings. Right? And so, Mother, your question was, how does this remain with me? I hear many things. So first thing that you need to do is repeat it. The knowledge has to be, you have to revisit. First R is revisit the knowledge. What you have heard, revisit it. Second thing that you can do is repeat it. Go and tell others. If you have got some, even the knowledge, just go and share with somebody. I heard something wonderful. I would like to tell you. Prabhupada would say, just go and tell everyone. Whoever, you are not this body, you are spirit, soul. One will say, have you realized? I have not realized, but the knowledge is perfect. Go and repeat. So revisit, repeat, and apply. Right? Sometimes you'll find, okay, I'll give you one story for this. One time, one disciple stayed with Guru and he felt that kuch ho nahi raha, nothing much is happening with me. Oh, what do I do? Why it seems this Guru is no good. I will go away and find another one. And he went to Guru and said, I want your blessings. I want to go. Enough of this school and enough of being with you. And Guru said, okay, do one last service for me. He said, okay, I'll do something for you. And Guru told him, can you see that basket? Empty that basket, right? And take it to the river and fill the basket with water and bring it. And Guru said, the disciple said, okay, I'll do that. He went to the river. He tried to fill the basket with water, but it was a basket, bamboo basket. The water leaked off in some time. Yeah. What is this? He again went to the river, tried to fill in. Few attempts this disciple made, and he came to the conclusion, my Guru is such a fool. That's why I didn't want to stay with him. Can anybody fill water in a basket, bamboo basket? Let me go and, go and tell the Guru, you're a fool. And he actually went to Guru and said, what did you do? I'm frustrated here. Is this a service that you give me? That you want me to fill, water in a bamboo basket? Everything got leaked. And I made so many attempts. And Guru said, don't worry, wait. I have a question to ask of you. When you picked up the bamboo basket, how was it? And the disciple said, oh, I think there was some charcoal in that before. And it's all black and dirty. And Guru said, now see the basket? He said, ew, it's all clean. Did you clean it? No, that was not the attempt. My attempt was just to fill the water in the basket. So Guru said, see, if I would have told you clean the basket, you would not do it. But I had to get same thing done through some different medium, some different channels, some different service. Guru said, my purpose is to clean your heart, to purify your heart. But you are looking for a certain activity and a certain service. But I will give you some service, but I will attain what? I'll get what? I'll get your heart purified. So service to Guru is so important. So if you go to ISKCON temple and if they ask you, please, can you come and just serve, prasadam to the guest? Can you come and just put some, mattresses? Can you come and, can you go and buy some flowers for us? That service is very, very special. You are serving Krishna, you are serving Guru, but that will purify our heart. So service is so important. Okay. So revisit, repeat, and then do some practical service. Then that knowledge will turn into realization. It will stay with you. Okay, thank you. Yes, Gaurav. Do we still have time?
It's on you, Prabhuji. I think we have already gone beyond time, so.
Okay, we'll wait. What we can do is, if anybody has any questions, they can write to you, and then you can give it to me, and then I can answer during the week.
Definitely.
I'll do that.
Definitely.
I'll send the answers to you.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
very
Prabhuji.
much for being online and attending the session. Next week, when we meet, we continue our discussion on the next chapter, which is the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Right, the 5th chapter, the 6th one especially will talk about the Ashtanga Yoga. Right, Arjuna will talk about the fallen yogi, and from the 7th. So first 6 chapters are considered the chapters pertaining. It has the knowledge pertaining to karma. The last 6 chapters have knowledge, are jnana, and the middle 6 chapters are bhakti. Very nicely protected, like sandwich, bread above, bread below, and the real stuff is in the middle. So as we progress into the study of the Gita, you will find the middle 6 chapters are so relishable, so beautiful. But without the understanding of karma and jnana, you will not be able to, relish that bhakti. Right? So that's why Krishna has kept it like this. So I hope and pray we continue on this journey and especially relish the middle 6 chapters. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.